Alright, today I'm going to try to do a short video on putting a fan together and installing it up in the ceiling. This is an Addlon fan. Probably goes by many other names. I got it off of Amazon for about $70. The reason being is this light shows to be brighter than most, which I've got a large room to put it in, so I want to get it able to be lit up. I originally bought about 5 fans like this, and they're good fans. They're about 90 bucks, all have remote control, but the lighting is horrible. There's not a lot of room up in that globe to put other lights in, so I mean that's the reason I went with this other one. So unpack the box, and the first thing I start on is assembling the blades. These are a little bit different. They've got 3 pieces. They've got the blade itself, which can be wood grain or black. Then they have the mount holder. This is going to go on the part of the blade that you want to see when you look up at it. So if you want wood grain, you're going to install it. There's 3 holes. They match up right here. You're going to install it on the wood grain side. I'm going to use black, so I'm going to put it over here on this side and just flip it over. And each one I do, I'm going to do the same, so when I attach the mount, which by the way, this is a really healthy mount, a lot better than the other ones that are made of cast iron. But there's a part on here that says this side up, and it's got the raised piece, and there's the indent. So we want to put this in. This side is going to go towards the fan unit. So it has 3 holes that you're going to line up with. And then out of your bag of bolts and screws, right up here on the top is where mine were. And they're going to be these screws with these washers. 1 washer per screw, 1 screw per hole, obviously. Let me get those in. And there we go, the 3 screws in with the washers. You don't want to over tighten them. You want them snug, but you don't want to put a bunch of force in. That could cause you to end up stripping out the threads on that decorative plate. So when I turn this over, that's what I'm going to see when I'm looking up at the fan. Now, I did get 2 extra screws and washers in case you drop 1 or 2 under the refrigerator or something. So that's kind of a nice thing. Hang on to them. If you didn't get them tight enough in here and one works their way out and goes off somewhere that you can't find, it's always good to have one that you can replace. It's also good to have them if you get another fan and they shorted you one. So those go in your bolt and nut storage bin. Next, we're going to put this on the motor, and for that, that's going to be these screws here. They're in the second pouch, and I'll see if I can get that in a spot where we can see it going on or see when it's on. Now this is the fan motor. This is the bottom of the fan that's going to face the floor. There's only 1 wire in that, which is going to connect to our light. At the top, I've got 2 wires. Well, there's more than 2 wires, but there's 2 connectors. So those are going to be plugged into the remote control unit. Let me see where I put that. And it's right here in front of my face. So from your light switch, you're going to have a black and a white. You should have a black and a white from the light receptacle in the ceiling. But if you remove the light from the ceiling to put this in, you're just going to want to note which one the black wire was on and which one the white one is on. Anything's possible when they wire the house and wire switches in. So you'll just want to make sure you're plugging these or connecting these to the right ones. Then these will be connected over here. And you'll turn the switch on the wall, you'll leave it on, and this works with the remote. And when you use the remote to turn the light on or off or the fan, it's going to use this and control your fan motor and your lights. So pretty easy as far as that goes. This should be pretty easy to get in. Normally these are a little bit of a pain when you have other fans. This is a flush mount, but the ones that are not flush mount, similar to that one up there, they are a bit of a pain to get everything tucked in under that decorative plate or decorative cover. So just be aware of that. Different fans may have different connections. Some may not even have these little connectors, and you may just have to wire directly into here. But usually they're color coded. So blue and white is going to go to your light in the fan here. And then the red and white is basically going to be your power. That's got a black, red, and white on here. So it uses that for probably powering the light or something, who knows. But we've only got two here going to the power in the ceiling. So we want our hot wire to go to black. We want our neutral to go to white. Putting the fan blade on. Again, this is the bottom of the fan that you'll be looking up at. I'm using the black versus the wood. And those plates, you're just going to line up on here and then screw them in and get them good and snug. And repeat 5 times. With this particular light, you may be able to hold off and install the head unit and then install the blades after that. With other fans, it's not always that easy because you have to screw it in from this side usually. It's a pain. Whatever works best for you, but if you put this up and you find it's tough trying to install the blades while it's up, you can always take it down, install the blades, but it is awkward trying to put it up with the blades attached. Although that's how I normally do it, it's still awkward. Once it's up and the blades are attached, you can then affix the light to it and be done. So this is my light up here, and right here, although they've got stuff over it, there's my black and my neutral. It's got 2 lights on this, so there's 2 blacks, 2 neutrals, and they all come up here. And that one looks like neutral. They both look like neutral, to be honest. But we've got the blacks going up here to this spot. Let me scrape that. So yeah, if I scrape that off, I can see those wires are black. They're just coated by drywall mud and or paint. But you want to make sure you know which is which before you put the other one up. So we're basically going to turn them off, the power off, unscrew here, unscrew the other one, take the wires from the existing light off, and we're going to put the wires from here through the mount, affix the mount, and then we'll wire the black and white to these. A little darker in here now, but here we have the piece that's going to attach to the ceiling. This side up to the ceiling, this side down towards the fan. You got the 2 screws in here that you're going to affix to your outlet cover. You're going to make sure that those wires we just looked at are poking through here. This is going to attach to this. Inside here is where you're going to put that, and then this will go over it, and there's spots. There's a screw there, another one there, another one over here, and you'll loosen them about 1/4 of an inch. And then when this is on the ceiling, you're going to bring the bottom piece up and just push down on the holes and twist, and then tighten those screws up. That's what you're going to be putting the screw over here, and then move it to the right, twisting it, and then tighten the screw up to keep the bottom piece here on the top one. I want to backpedal here a bit. You're going to loosen up 2 screws, one on either side, and you're going to remove these 2 screws, because once you get it attached and twisted and these tightened down, then you're going to put those back in, and they will go in those holes. Give you a little more stability in case, that way it can't just simply twist out. On a side note, if your ground wire is stuck through this hole, go ahead and remove that out of the hole. You don't want it in there. This is going to vibrate, and over time it can slice that, and then your ground could become ineffective or arbitrarily hit another hot wire. You just don't want to go through that, so make sure it's removed. These screws in the bottom of your packet will assist you in hanging this up. I don't know why they have drywall screws in here. You should never install this directly to the drywall. This should be going into your mount, although if you wanted a little bit extra, I guess you could put these in the drywall and use those as well as the outlet to mount it. I've never really seen these included in a fan before. Maybe I've never paid attention, but I'm just going to use the regular screws that came with it and mount the plate up with that to the ceiling outlet. As I'm looking at them, they look more like maybe concrete or masonry. Kind of weird. It's above my head. Like I say, I've never used these on any fans before. I'll have to try to find out what they're for later, and just to put in my own personal knowledge bank. But these appear to be what would be drywall, not drywall, concrete or mortar anchors. And the install of the ceiling plate. Make sure you've got it snug. Those screws I pointed out came with washers. They're necessary, otherwise these screws are going to go right through that hole. But screw on each side, snug down. Wires will be pushed up inside here. If I can get them in there, I will definitely try. As they are right now, I guess they'd be okay, but the safest bet is to get these wires back up inside the hole once you've got the remote connected. So that prevents any undue chance that these might come over and rub on this plate in here. You definitely don't want that. Again, all it takes is that hot wire to come undone and be grounded out, and then your fan's not going to work. It's going to blow your breaker, and you'll think that your fan's bad, order another one, when in fact it was just the wire. So make sure the wires are tucked up and out of the way and not rubbing on any metal. Very important, very safety thing. Okay, got the remote control unit in. white to white, black to black. Wires are pushed up out of the way. So now I'm ready to bring the other piece over and place it on. I'll take a look at what I've got. I may attach the piece to the motor and then put it on as one unit rather than try to screw the motor on. I think I have to screw the motor on from inside here anyways. But the tricky bit will be connecting the ground to make sure that's in while you're holding it. Helps to have two people, but it's not impossible to do it with one. So yeah, I'm going to have to install this to the fan before I put it up to the ceiling. The nice thing is that this mount up here somewhere, there it is, there's a hook. So I can rest this, I can see it, in that hook to hold it. I wouldn't use the one I'm using now, but it's the only one I can get it in there because I can't see the other one with the camera. But I could use that to hold this as I finish doing my wiring, and that'll hold the fan motor itself. Once I get the wiring done, then I can go ahead and put it up, twist, screw it in. This fits down here over, and then the bigger holes will go around those screws that are already in there, and then we'll place 3 screws in here to attach the fan to this collar here. The next pouch where these 4 screws are, you're going to use 3 of those to attach to the fan. All right, I went ahead and fixed all the fan blades just because of my back. Just putting that stuff up there, and I mean, it only took a couple of minutes, has already got my back going nuts. Luckily, this desk is here and it's the right height. It kind of helps, but still going to need some ibuprofen and a little bit of downtime after this. But this is a lot easier than the other ones. So let me see if I can take it over to the ceiling. And there we go. It's sitting on that hook, which will give me access to be able to wire those up and then put it inside. And then I'll remove it from the hook, and the piece on the fan is going to go over the ceiling mount and click into place, and then I'll have to screw those in as well as add the other 2 screws to make it steady. And then it would just be the light to deal with. Okay, that wasn't that bad. It was for me, but the biggest thing when putting that up there is getting the remote control unit and the wires in there so that when you push the fan up, they're not dripping over. They're a little bit of a pain. It's not that huge, but just watch that when you're putting it in, that you don't have a wire sticking out. Then you put it up, twist, and then you screw in the screw, put the other 2 in, snug them down real good, and now all we have left is the light. All right, this is the light. Came shipped in 2 different pieces. That's the cover. This is your LED. There's that wire that hooks up 1, 2, 3 holes. Now the screws for those were already installed. 1, 2, and 3. So you're going to have to remove one of them, and these seem to be backed off enough to where I don't have to worry about it. So I'm just going to remove one and then put that light in there and hook up the wire. Also, in this light is a switch, and this is going to determine what type of light. That is 50K. So if you want a brighter light, I can't even see what those are in this low light. It's like 50, 60. This would come out if I had better glasses. So the lighter you have, or the higher you have that, should be here. But you can adjust that after you put this on and before you put the light cover on. But once you adjust it and put it to what you want, I don't believe the remote will allow you to change the different type. Daylight, warm, stuff like that. You'll have to take the cover off and adjust it from that switch. So bear that in mind. All right. That was okay to get on. That other one was a bit weird trying to find the threads. But I got them in, got them snugged down, and got the power connected. Now, let's see what it looks like. It's definitely bright. It does brighten up this room in here. Let's see if I can see. This is a cool kind of bluish hue. This is a little bit more warm, more reminiscent of a incandescent light. More warmer, much more, and very warm. So this one, yeah, probably here. We'll do it on this one. So it really does light up the room real well. I don't know how this goes on. I can't hardly see because this light's so bright. But there's indentations here and up there somewhere. You can see it. There it is. So line that up and then twist. And there we go. Ow. So that's what it is. I got the remote control. It did come with 2 batteries, but it comes with 2 remote controls. I can find where I put the other one at. There it is. So this one looks as though it would go over the light switch itself. But I don't know how well it'll do with that in here. There's not a lot of room on there. I'll try it out, but you know, if you lose your remotes, you can turn the light off and on, but you lose the ability to use your fan. So you have to have that. This did come with 2 batteries in here, but have an extra set on hand. No telling how long these batteries have been sitting. They're cheapy batteries, so eventually they'll go out. And under the fan, I'm on 3. That's not too bad. Let's set it to 4. Well, let's try 6. And there's also a reverse button here. There's not one on the fan. And you can dim the light with this. And I expect, I don't know, there's a timer. There's a good amount of air coming through there. But when I press the power, I think it stops the fan. This one right here, the middle click, that turns the light on and off. So, and then your timer down below. I don't know what the home is. I didn't look at that. I don't know what that is. And I haven't looked at that. I'm sure your instructions will put it on there. I'm not going to bore you with all that. And there appears to be a battery, probably a 2302 or something already in here. But I'll go get a screwdriver and see if that fits over, and I'll let you know. So I take the back cover off. There's a little screw that you have to unscrew. and then push that down and lift it up, and there are two, look to be 2302s in here, and of course we have to pull these in order to get that to work. But it does not go over. It still hits that switch. And again, once you turn the power off here, it shuts everything down. So the fan and everything's going to stop as soon as you do that. Of course, there's the remote, but just know that. And as I say that, no, the fan came back on as well as the light. So if we turn the light off, do that, I can hear the fan slowing down. Back on again. The fan's going, but the light didn't come back on. So for whatever that's worth to you, that's how that'll work. But I think you'd have to use some of the drywall screws in here and mount it next to your light switch to be able to activate the fan and the light from the wall versus having to find the remote, or I don't know, however your room's arranged. For a bedroom, this is going to stand on a nightstand. I don't see a problem with it. But that's all there is to installing this fan. Hope you found it useful, and it is got a good light and a good fan speed, quiet. Like I say, it's running, but you know, I can hear the blades hitting the wind a little bit, but I don't hear a hum from the motor. So all in all, a really good deal. I got this one off Amazon for $69 and change or something like that. But there you go. I hope this helps.